of people from relating to self-determination. That's the primary perspective I like to go from.
Say that again.
Basically, how psychological engineering is used to religion to weaponize against our people so that we can't relate to self-determination.
Okay.
And in saying that, think of it like this. First, religion is just a form of language weaponization. And what's used in that is images and language in order to subjugate a certain class or a certain people to a position of inferiority and to migrate another people to be the chosen, so to speak. Now, and that's a specific religious sediment that we're talking about, like I would say within Christianity or Islam. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that we don't need religion. I would say that religion, what it should do is, because what it is to religion or to tie back to God. So religion is, in essence, is supposed to be how a group of people come together in order to embrace collectively the idea of spirituality, which is a personal relationship and tie to the to creation, should I say, not the creator, but creation. Mm-hmm. And the idea from that standpoint is where it gets weaponized is that you have a specific people that are only able to communicate with God directly or been quote unquote ordained or chosen, and everyone else basically has to get their interpretation through them. You see, and that's an aspect of how it's weaponized. But more specifically, in the Black community, what we've had, and you can just obviously take this back on through colonization, is that religion was used to justify slavery, was used to justify a position of slavery and a position of a people to be enslaved. And then once it came up a certain point in time to where that people you wanted to allow them to read, then they utilized a slave Bible in order to justify them in a place, but at the same time still give them something to be able to comprehend for the sake of being able to read.
Mr. Williams, earlier in another episode, me and Mr. Scott was talking about down south being a Bible Belt. Just the whole theory of it being the Bible Belt, because they use it to browbeat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I grew up in the South.
Justify that we're inferior.
Mm-hmm.
Justify that we are inferiors.
That's exactly
it's not true.
And then a lot of that comes from
I know what we can do.
A lot of that comes from them enslaving the indigenous people, because they enslaved all brown people. Then you have to make all brown people believe that they are slaves and they have no stake in the country or the land. Because if you think that all y'all were slaves now, then y'all don't think that y'all own nothing. Y'all don't think y'all have entitlement to what's really your land. So it's so much deeper than just the Bible and just the games of religion and the 501(c)(3) tax write-off, because all of those things are going to influence what you talk about in religion.
And that's why I said self-determination. The whole point being is once you keep the people from being self-determined, then they have to look to you for their power. And then obviously, if you going back to the images that are portrayed in the Bible, if those images don't look like me, then I'm obviously not the chosen people. Mm-hmm. If I'm not the chosen people, then everything that comes behind the chosen people is an inferior people. And so it just goes on and on and on from there. And so, but what I want our people to recognize is that in essence, what we have to get back to is knowing that these things was weaponized against us. And kind of like what you said earlier, Dr. Kaci, I think that the Bible in itself can be used as a tool to remove yourself from levels of enslavement.
I believe that there are very, very much so parables. There's a lot of things that's there that's written a certain way, but if you really think about it on a spiritual level, it means something very much more deeper and very poignant than the broad meaning that is used in a religious stance.
But I think what you said when you said parable, That's the key there, because too much of it is ingested as literal. And that's where you start getting into this indoctrination, and that's where you start getting to where things are just completely, way off in left field.